What if the United States wasn't so united? What if, over 150 years ago, America lost the Civil War, and the nation we know today was permanently split in two? Let's dive into one of history's biggest what-ifs. For the South to win, we need a major turning point. Let's imagine this. July 1863, the Battle of Gettysburg. Instead of a Union victory, Confederate forces under General Lee achieve a decisive win on Northern soil. This stunning victory could have convinced foreign powers like Great Britain or France to finally recognize the Confederacy. With their backing and a demoralized Union President Lincoln might have been forced to negotiate a peace treaty. The war ends not with a surrender, but with a stalemate that solidifies the existence of two separate nations. In the immediate aftermath, the map of North America is redrawn. You have the United States of America, now just the Union, in the North, and the newly formed Confederate States of America, or CSA, in the South. But would the splitting stop there? It's possible Texas, with its independent history, might decide to go its own way. Maybe California and the West Coast, separated by a continent and two hostile nations, form their own republic. North America could become a fractured puzzle of competing states. The most horrifying consequence of a Confederate victory is the continuation of slavery. The CSA was founded on the principle of preserving this brutal institution. Millions of people would remain in bondage, likely well into the late 1800s, maybe even the early 20th century, while global pressure, especially from allies like Britain, might eventually force abolition. The human cost of those extra decades of suffering is unimaginable. The moral stain would define the Confederacy forever. Politically, the two nations would be polar opposites. The CSA would likely become an agrarian oligarchy, ruled by a wealthy, land-owning elite with a weak central government. The Union, on the other hand, would probably double down on industrialization, becoming a manufacturing powerhouse. A tense Cold War would likely simmer between them, with a heavily militarized border. Imagine a Berlin Wall, but stretching from Virginia to the Great Plains. The two nations would be locked in a state of perpetual hostility. Economically, the South would face major challenges. An economy built on agriculture and enslaved labor would struggle to compete in an industrializing world. Without the North's manufacturing base, the CSA would be heavily dependent on foreign trade and likely fall behind technologically. The Union, meanwhile, would continue its westward expansion, but now competing with the CSA for territory and resources. This division would dramatically weaken America's global influence. Without a unified United States, who would tip the scales in World War I? Could the outcome of World War II have been different without the full industrial might of a single, powerful America? It's entirely possible that European colonialism might have lingered longer in the Americas, with Britain and France playing the two rival nations against each other. Culturally, there would be no single American identity. The dream of one nation, indivisible, would be dead. The civil rights movement, as we know it, would likely never happen in a country where slavery was defended as a core value. Instead, you'd have two competing national stories, one of industrial freedom in the North, and one of aristocratic tradition in the South. Could this division last? Perhaps not. The economic weakness of the Confederacy might lead to its collapse and eventual reunification, maybe after another, even bloodier war. Or the two nations might remain separate, evolving into entirely different countries, like Canada and the United States today, but with a far more bitter history. The world would be a profoundly different place. What do you think would have happened? Would reunification have been possible? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into alternate history, be sure to like and subscribe for more.